Losing a loved one is one of the most difficult experiences in life. During this time of grief, it can be overwhelming to make decisions about funeral arrangements. Many people choose to work with a funeral home, but there is another option: a DIY funeral. A DIY funeral is a funeral that is planned and carried out by the family and friends of the deceased. This can be a more personal and meaningful way to say goodbye to a loved one, and it can also be more affordable. If you are considering a DIY funeral, there are a few things you need to know. This article will provide you with a compassionate and informative guide to planning and carrying out a DIY funeral. Tips for planning a DIY funeral. Talk to your loved ones. Before you start making any plans, it is important to talk to your loved ones about their wishes for their funeral. What kind of service do they want? Do they want to be buried or cremated? Where do they want to be laid to rest? Once you have a good understanding of their wishes, you can start to make plans. Do your research. There are many resources available to help you plan a DIY funeral. There are books, websites, and even organizations that specialize in helping families plan funerals on their own. Once you have a good understanding of the basics, you can start to make more specific plans. Create a budget. Funerals can be expensive, but a DIY funeral can be much more affordable. When you are creating your budget, be sure to factor in the cost of all of the necessary items, such as a casket or urn, transportation, and burial or cremation fees. Once you have a budget in place, you can start to gather the supplies you will need for the funeral. This may include a casket or urn, clothing for the deceased, flowers, and other decorations. Delegate tasks. Planning a funeral can be a lot of work, so it is important to delegate tasks to family and friends. This will help to make the process less stressful and more manageable. Carrying out a DIY funeral. Once you have planned your DIY funeral, it is time to carry it out. Here are a few tips. Prepare the body. If you are planning a home funeral, you will need to prepare the body for viewing. This includes washing and dressing the body, and applying light makeup if desired. You may also want to place the body in a casket or urn. Transport the body. If you are having a funeral home cremation, the funeral home will transport the body to the crematorium for you. If you are having a home funeral, you will need to arrange for transportation of the body to the cemetery or crematorium. Where to hold the funeral service. The funeral service is a time to say goodbye to your loved one and to celebrate their life. You can hold the service at home, at a church or other place of worship, or at a cemetery. The service can be as simple or elaborate as you like. Bury or cremate the body. Once the funeral service is complete, you will need to bury or cremate the body. If you are burying the body, you will need to purchase a burial plot and arrange for a grave to be dug. If you are cremating the body, you will need to arrange for the cremation to take place at a crematorium. In conclusion, planning and carrying out a DIY funeral can be a challenging but rewarding experience. It can be a way to honor your loved one's wishes and to say goodbye in a personal and meaningful way. If you are considering a DIY funeral, be sure to do your research and to gather support from family and friends. Here are some additional tips. If you are not sure about something, ask for help. There are many people who are willing to help you plan and carry out a DIY funeral. Funeral homes, cemeteries, and crematoriums can all provide guidance and support. Don't be afraid to be creative. DIY funerals can be as unique and personal as you want them to be. There are no rules, so be creative and celebrate your loved one in a way that feels right to you. Take your time. There is no need to rush to plan and carry out a DIY funeral. Take your time and grieve at your own pace. When you are ready, you can start to make plans for a funeral that honors your loved one and brings you comfort. Losing a loved one is a difficult and painful experience. It is important to be kind to yourself during this time of grief. Allow yourself to feel your emotions and to take care of yourself. If you are planning a DIY funeral, be sure to give yourself plenty of time. We hoped you found this video informative. Please like the video and subscribe to our channel for more funeral-related topics.